Good morning. This is Pastor Jeff. This is our daily lectionary readings for Wednesday, July 27th. Our psalm reading, once again, is going to be in Psalms 55, 16 through 23. Our Old Testament reading continues through the story of Esther. It's a little bit longer reading once again, Esther 7 through chapter 8, verse 17. And then our New Testament reading is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 43 through 48. Let us listen into the scriptures, beginning with our psalm reading. I call to God. God will help me. At dusk, dawn, and noon, I sigh deep sighs. He hears, he rescues. My life is well and whole, secure in the middle of danger. Even while thousands are lined up against me, God hears it all, and from his judge's bench puts them in place. But set in their ways, they won't change. They pay him no mind. And this, my best friend, betrayed his best friends. His life betrayed his word. All my life, I've been charmed by his speech, never dreaming he'd turn on me. His words were music to my ears, tuned to daggers in my heart. Pile your troubles on God's shoulders. He'll carry your load. He'll help you out. He'll never let good people topple into ruin. But you, God, will throw the others into a muddy bog, cut the lifespan of assassins and traitors in half. And I trust in you. Our Old Testament reading continues our story that we've been following the last week in the book of Esther. Esther 7:7 is where we start. The king, raging, left his wine and stomped out into the palace garden. Haman stood there, pleading with Queen Esther for his life. He could see that the king was finished with him and that he was doomed. As the king came back from the palace gardens into the banquet hall, Haman was groveling on the couch on which Esther reclined. The king roared out, "Will he even molest the queen while I'm just around the corner?" When that word left the king's mouth, all the blood drained from Haman's face. Harbona, one of the eunuchs attending the king, spoke up. "Look over there. There's the gallows that Haman has built for Mordecai, who saved the king's life. It's right next to Haman's house, 75 feet high." The king said, "Hang him on it." So Haman was hanged on the very gallows that he had built for Mordecai, and the king's hot anger cooled. That same day, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman, archenemy of the Jews, and Mordecai came out before the king because Esther had explained their relationship. The king took off his signet ring, which he had taken back from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. Esther appointed Mordecai over Haman's estate. Then Esther spoke to the king, falling at his feet, begging with tears to counter the evil of Haman the Agagite and revoke the plan that he had plotted against the Jews. The king extended his gold scepter to Esther. She got to her feet and stood before the king. She said, "If it pleases the king, and he regards me with favor, and thinks that it is right, and if he has any affection for me at all, let an order be written that cancels the bulletins authorizing the plan of Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, to annihilate the Jews and all of King's providence. How can I stand to see this catastrophe wipe out my people? How can I bear to stand by and watch the massacre of my own relatives?" King Xerxes said to Queen Esther and Mordecai the Jew, "I've given Haman's estate to Esther, and he's been hanged on the gallows because he attacked the Jews. So go ahead now and write whatever you decide on behalf of the Jews. Then seal it with the signet ring. An order written in the king's name and sealed with his signet ring is irrevocable." So the king's secretaries were brought in on the 23rd day. of the 3rd month, the month of Sivan, and the order regarding the Jews was written, word for word as Mordecai dictated, and was addressed to the satraps, the governors, and the officials of the province from India to Ethiopia, 127 provinces in all, to each province in his own script, and each people in their own language, including the Jews in their script and language. He wrote under the name of King Xerxes and sealed the order with the royal signet ring, and he sent out the bulletins by the couriers on horseback, riding the fastest royal steed bred, the royal stud. The king's order authorized the Jews in every city to arm and defend themselves to the death, killing anyone who threatened them or their women and children, and confiscating from themselves anything owned by the enemies. The day set forth as all King Xerxes' providence was on the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar. The order was posted in public places in each province so everyone could read it, authorizing the Jews to be prepared on the day to avenge themselves of their enemies. The couriers fired up the king's orders, raced off on the royal horses, and at the same time the order was posted in the palace complex of Susa. Mordecai walked out of the king's presence wearing a royal robe of violet and white, a huge gold crown, and a purple cape of fine linen. The city of Susa exploded with joy. For Jews, it was all good times and laughter. They celebrated. They were honored. It was that way all over the country, in every province, every city where the king's bulletin was posted. The Jews took to the streets in celebration, cheering and feasting. Not only that, but many non-Jews became Jews. Now it was dangerous not to be a Jew. Our New Testament reading comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 43 through 48. You're familiar with the old written law. Love your friend and its unwritten companion. Hate your enemy. I'm challenging that. I'm telling you to love your enemies. Let them bring out the best in you, not the worst. When someone gives you a hard time, respond with subtle moves of prayer. For then you are working out your true selves, your God-created selves. That is what God does. He gives his best, the sun to warm and the rain to nourish, to everyone, regardless, the good and the bad, the nice and the nasty. If all you do is love the lovable, do you expect a bonus? Anyone can do that. If you simply say hello to those who greet you, do you expect a medal? Any run-of-the-mill sinner will do that. In a word, what I'm saying is, grow up. You're kingdom subjects. Now live like it. Live out your God-created identity. Live generously and graciously toward others, the way God lives towards you. And here ends our readings for the day.